welcome to the first ever channel video for Melanated Crypto. Really excited for this as we start off something brand new for this channel. So everyone has to start somewhere. So why don't we start off with an unboxing of a crypto miner. Today we'll be looking at the Antminer L3 Plus. The L3 is really popular right now. Well, because it's profitable. Actually, it's come back into profitability. Last year, you could find this miner for about $50 on eBay. Now, you can't find it for less than $2,500. And in some instances, I've seen it upwards up to $4,000. Tell me that's not crazy. But because of the pandemic, people being home a little bit more, the opportunity to get into mining has become more popular and basically more accessible. Hence, the price has gone up. So kudos to you if you actually bought one last year and haven't had to spend that huge amount to get a miner. Right now I'm looking at the power supply that comes with the miner. So why don't we go ahead and take a closer look at it and let's see how it works. The power supply that comes with the L3 Plus isn't very heavy. Actually, it's pretty light, around 2.5 kilograms. It has a small intake to the left-hand side, which is used to obviously cool down the power supply. To the right will be the power source which we plug in to get our power. Now, these PSUs are rated at about 1600 watts, but only if they're connected to a 220 to 240 volt source. For home, you're probably going to have about 110 to 120, so that would rate the power supply about 1200 watts. It has 10 6-pin PCIe connectors, which we are going to use to connect directly to the L3 Plus miner. They actually connect to the cards. Other than that, then, it's a pretty simple setup. So why don't we move on and take a look at the actual miner. The L3 miner comes packed from the manufacturer in a small to medium-sized box. Not very heavy, so you shouldn't have an issue transporting or picking it up. Now, I say from the manufacturer, but to be honest with you, you can't get one from them right now. So your best bet would be getting them from Amazon.com, eBay, and your local buy and sell websites. That could be Kijiji or something else. I've actually seen them on Facebook Marketplace, so it's a pretty good place to find them too. So opening it up here does come with the do this or do not do this sheet. We don't really care, so we'll just throw that to the side. As I was saying, the L3 miner is packed pretty well. You can see a styrofoam around it, very snug in the box. There was no movement at all. The other thing I like is the fact that the miner is vacuum sealed. So that tells me that from the manufacturer, they've done a great job in making sure that once this was built and put together, vacuum sealed up, and it was untouched until it is in your hands right now. The bag actually keeps static electricity from affecting the miner and dust. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up here, and while that's happening, I'm going to talk a little bit of specs. It is a script miner, 504 megahertz a second, 800 watts. Now that 504 megahertz can go up or go down. It just really depends on the coin that you're mining and the difficulty for mining that coin. Talking about mining, like I said, it is a script miner. Now there is about 63 script coins that you can mine on the market right now, but I won't talk about all 63. I'll just talk about the two famous ones, Doge and Litecoin. So this does weigh about 9.7 pounds, like I said, not very heavy. It is oh so shiny, that's for sure. You can take a look at the front here of the machine. Up top there is where you would plug in your Ethernet cable that will go right to your router or out to your internet provider. On top, we have the control board, which is very important. And this control board is what actually controls the system. And we can see that it's connected to the 4 ASIC chipboards, which also connect to power to actually power the machine. Now we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to give you an overview of what the machine looks like out of the bag. Like I said, not very heavy, very sturdy though, well built, and definitely you shouldn't have any issues with this when you start it up. Why don't we bring this all together and actually hook everything up so you can see what it looks like, the finished piece. So here is the power supply we talked about a little bit earlier. And what we are going to do is take those 10, well actually 8, 6-pin PCIe connectors and connect them to the ASIC boards that's on the Antminer. Now what I suggest is actually dividing up the PCI connectors into 2 bunches of 4. That will make it a lot easier when you're trying to plug it into the actual miner itself. Now again, when you're doing that, you want to be very careful. The reason why I say that is, first of all, you want to make sure that you're plugging in the PCIe connectors in the right way. You really can't plug in the wrong way. It won't work, but you want to make sure you're doing it the right way anyways. When you do plug it in, you want to make sure that it's plugged in very snug and that you're taking your time doing it. Sometimes you'll hear a click, sometimes you won't, but you just want to make sure that you are doing it right. It can be a little bit tedious, as you can see here, and that's because I was being very careful. I suggest you be very careful. You don't want to pay for a machine like this and screw it up right at the beginning, by not taking your time just plugging in the power connectors. Once you are done with the power connectors, you're actually left with 2 extra power connectors, 2 extra PCIe connectors. You're going to take one of those connectors now, and you're going to connect that to the control board. I talked about that a little bit earlier. That's the actual brains of the system itself. So you want to take it and just plug it in there, and you should be good to go after that. You're going to be left with 1. I don't use this last PCIe connection for anything. Most people that I've talked to, they don't use it for anything either. So, just let it hang there, tape it together. Doesn't matter. You don't really need it. To power the power supply, you can just use a regular AC adapter. These are almost similar to the ones that you use for your computer. All you do, just plug it in to the receptacle that is on the, actually, gotta find it first. There it is. The receptacle that's actually on the power supply, the other end, just into your 120 volt or 220 volt wall. Lastly, your Ethernet cable plugs into the Ethernet port, and you should be ready to go. That is really it on the Antminer L3. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like, and we'll see you all very soon.